What do you do when one partner is feeling unfulfilled sexually in your marriage? Well, that's what we're going to unpack today. And actually, this is part 2 of our series. And I know, even though this problem is very common, it still can be scary to talk about. So, we're going to dive into what's really happening in the situation. My name's Mary Whitman Ortiz. I am a Christian sex educator, relationship coach, author, and speaker, and I love to help couples to create great intimacy in their marriage. So thanks very much for tuning in. Make sure you stay until the end because I have a tool to share with you to help you right now. So let's unpack that question. One spouse is feeling unfulfilled. What's really going on? We have to actually define what does it mean to be unfulfilled. And I would say that you have an expectation, you have a need, you have something that you're looking for, and it's not happening. And there's so many times we're just unaware. We might have an empty feeling, there might be irritation in the relationship, and we've never actually put our finger on it. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to define that. And I'm going to call this understanding what the need is and whose job is it to meet that need. So get your big girl, big boy pants on because this is definitely some deep stuff here. So yes, that need could be all about the sexual release. Very legitimate need. And in marriage, it's certainly a time of celebration because, hey, sexual intimacy is God's gift to marriage. So that sexual release is a wonderful thing. It could be about the thrill of being engaged sexually. It could be, I have a fun need in the marriage, in the sex life. Those things are all viable needs, wonderful needs. Sometimes the need, though, isn't actually in sex, even though there's a crossover. So it might be a need for emotional connection. They want to be seen and heard and known and understood and loved and to feel I matter. And they might have a habit of going to sexual intimacy to fill a non-sexual need because they kind of overlap and can go together, and then realize I still don't feel like that empty spot has been addressed. So identifying what is the need and saying it's okay that I have that need, that is really, really important. And then we're going to dive into whose job is it to meet the need? And I'm going to give you 3 options, and you may want to expand this for your own understanding. But I say it could be God's job to meet that need, especially if we bring up something like, I just want to know I'm good enough, that I matter, that I'm okay. So any of those identity needs, the number one source is God. And it's your job to agree with God, so you need to be a part of that process. But God is the ultimate source. He is the ultimate one whose job it is to give you your identity. And if God is that source, then that relationship of building trust with Him is going to be very important. If you are the source, it's your awareness that is being awakened and quickened and educated and grown. And there's a lot of cultures that encourage needs being suppressed. And that is not where we are. We want to balance. We want to be don't want to be so need driven that it's me driven. So certainly there is a balance there. And then we're talking about your spouse. So when is it their job? Well, when you are walking through that, and it's so unique in each marriage, that's when the understanding will grow. You get clear within yourself, then you can begin to express a lot of that to your spouse. Okay, so the third part of this whole need journey in regards to being unfulfilled, ask. Ask for what you need. Revolutionary, right? Well, as I mentioned earlier, some cultures, there's even some church messages that make it sound like, oh, you would be more holy and more Christian if you would deny that you have needs. Sometimes they use the verse that says, deny yourself and put others first. Well, we have to take that in context because your needs count, you count, and within sexual intimacy especially, we want to be so respectful of those undercurrents so that no one feels like they are being used, that they are being left out of the whole process. So yes, you get to have needs and you get to ask for your needs to be met. You're welcome. I mean, those are revolutionary truths, and they are going to make your sex life so much better. So keep this in your thoughts. God never wants you to feel invisible or unimportant. And so if you have some needs, that's okay. It's time to have them be met. And here's the tool that I wanted to tell you about. I have a webinar coming up on November 18th, and it's called Happy, Healthy Sexually. Yes, this can happen in your marriage. So we are going to unpack what are some of those sexual desire differences that play out between husbands and wives, and what do you need to have in place, there's that word again, need, to grow that closeness. So I have, man, a whole handout for you. You can follow the presentation. It has journal prompts, conversations with your spouse. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see you. So you just need to register. It's free. It's a gift to you. And the link for registration will be in the comments below. So thanks so much for tuning in today. Remember, Father God wants to lavish his love on every area of your life, including sexual intimacy in marriage.